Joaquin is a retired computer technician who lives alone with his elderly dog, Casimiro, in a large but poorly maintained house in Buenos Aires. To survive, he rents out one of the rooms for extra income. Years ago, his wife and child were killed in a car accident, the same tragedy that left Joaquin permanently disabled and confined to a wheelchair. Every day, his routine never changes. He spends his time in the basement, taking apart old computer parts as a hobby, reaching the room using a special lift. As Casimiro grows weaker and barely moves due to old age, Joaquin once considers ending his only companion's life peacefully. He prepares poisoned biscuits meant for dogs, but his heart cannot go through with it. In the end, he hides the poison inside a clock cabinet. One rainy night, an unexpected guest arrives. A woman named Berta shows up, soaked from the rain, accompanied by her young daughter, Betty. She wants to rent a room without calling ahead, which immediately irritates Joaquin. Realizing her mistake, Berta apologizes and helps tidy up the messy house. While doing so, she notices a foreclosure notice, hinting at Joaquin's financial trouble. Soon after, Betty suddenly disappears. Joaquin and Berta search the house together until Berta checks the overgrown backyard. There she finds an abandoned slide and the burned remains of a car, painful remnants of Joaquin's past life with his family. Eventually, Betty is found hiding inside a storage closet. Berta explains that her daughter suffers from selective mutism, a psychological condition that prevents her from speaking despite having no physical disability. Later, in the room Berta rents, Joaquin notices photo albums filled with pictures of his late wife and child. The next day, Berta surprises Joaquin with a small birthday celebration on the rooftop. Since the only way up is by stairs, she helps pull his wheelchair all the way up. They drink and talk together. It becomes clear that because of her condition, Betty does not speak to anyone, not even her own mother. Doctors have advised Berta not to pressure her into talking. As the night grows late, Berta takes Betty to bed and returns to spend more time with Joaquin. Growing comfortable, Berta, who works as an adult dancer, confidently performs an erotic dance in front of him. Joaquin can only sit there, silent and stunned. Days pass quietly. Joaquin continues working with computer parts in the basement. Berta often practices dancing on the rooftop with loud music. Meanwhile, Betty becomes curious about Casimiro, the old dog who never seems to move. Slowly, she approaches him. After months, something incredible happens. The dog finally stands up, drawn to Betty's presence. Seeing this, Joaquin is overwhelmed. He retreats to his basement lab and breaks down in tears. Not long after, Joaquin hears strange scraping sounds coming from behind a basement wall. He presses a stethoscope against it and sets up a recorder. Clear voices can be heard, people talking and working on something unknown behind the wall. From that moment on, Joaquin knows something dangerous is happening next door. This is at the end of the tunnel. The next day, Joaquin listens carefully to the recording and writes down key details. He hears a date, Saturday, December 24th, mentions of a beam, and several names, Gallardo, Rene, and Canario. Determined to uncover the truth, he drills a tiny hole through the wall and installs a hidden mini CCTV camera, cleverly disguising it inside an old computer CPU embedded in the basement wall. At that moment, the room behind the wall was completely empty. Joaquin still could not figure out what they were really doing, but he strongly suspected it was something illegal. To reduce the risk of whatever might happen later, and without explaining what he had discovered in the basement wall, he asked Berta and Betty to look for another apartment and stay away for a few weeks. Berta misunderstood his intentions. She believed Joaquin had feelings for her, but felt insecure because of his condition in a wheelchair. She also assumed he simply wanted to return to his quiet, isolated life. That same night, while reviewing the CCTV footage, Joaquin began uncovering disturbing details. The mysterious work only happened at night. He saw sandbags being carried upstairs and large beams whose purpose was unclear. Feeling sorry for Berta and Betty, who had nowhere else to go, Joaquin decided to let them stay. He even planned to bring them down to the basement to show them something important. But when he checked the footage again, he was shocked to discover the truth. Berta was part of the group all along, acting as an insider to distract him. The entire operation was led by her own boyfriend, Gallardo. Realizing this, Joaquin quickly covered his tracks. He casually told Berta that he only wanted to show her a silly viral YouTube video. The next day, more CCTV footage revealed Gallardo and his crew studying blueprints and digging deeper underground. While Berta was out shopping, Joaquin noticed Betty whispering to Casimiro. That gave him an idea. He secretly placed a microphone behind the dog's collar. As he continued working, Joaquin watched the CCTV feed and was horrified by what he saw. Gallardo brutally murdered one of his own men for leaking the bank's address to his girlfriend. He was willing to kill just to keep the operation secret. During the same footage, Gallardo mentioned a police official named Gutman who was helping them. It became clear that they were planning to rob a bank through an underground tunnel. Even worse, the bank was located right next to Joaquin's house. With the truth now exposed, Joaquin spoke calmly with Berta. Without her noticing, he slipped sleeping pills into her drink. Soon after, she fell asleep in her room. Joaquin tied her to the bed and set an alarm for 6 hours. Before she fully drifted off, he let her know that he was aware of everything she and her group had planned. Joaquin then returned to the basement and listened more closely. He learned that Gallardo planned to avoid safes numbered 747 and 748 because they belonged to the anti-narcotics agency and were directly connected to police alarms. He also discovered that they intended to detonate a bomb inside the tunnel. When Berta woke up, Joaquin showed her footage of Gallardo brutally killing his own man. She broke down in tears, unable to believe the cruelty of the man she loved. Joaquin then allowed Betty to take Casimiro and move into the bedroom that once belonged to his late daughter. Using the tunnel maps captured on CCTV, Joaquin recreated the layout on a whiteboard. Finally, he began breaking through the basement floor, creating his own access point into the tunnel Gallardo and his crew had built. Joaquin spends more time talking with Berta while she is still tied to the bed. From this, he finally learns the truth about Betty. Her selective mutism began when she was only 4 years old, which means the trauma happened 2 years ago. Joaquin also admits that he plans to take part of Gallardo's stolen money for himself. Hearing this, Berta urges him to sell the house instead if he needs money, rather than risking his life. Meanwhile, Gallardo is forced to delay the bank robbery from December 24th to December 25th. Their tunnel accidentally crosses a water pipe, so they have to reroute it. At the same time, Joaquin keeps digging through his basement floor and eventually breaks into the tunnel to inspect the pipe himself. As he makes his way back, Gallardo and his younger brother, Canario, suddenly pass through the tunnel. Joaquin quickly covers himself in dirt, and thankfully, neither of them notices him at all. When Joaquin returns upstairs to check on Berta, panic hits him. Betty is gone. The gate blocking the elevator to the basement is wide open. Joaquin rushes back down, falling several times in his desperation. His fear is confirmed. Betty did not just go to the basement. She crawled through the tunnel and entered Gallardo's hidden operation. While hiding quietly, Betty witnesses the man behind the entire plan, a high-ranking police official named Gutman. He orders Gallardo and his crew to retrieve an envelope filled with important documents from safe number 155. Once they leave, Betty quickly makes her way back through the tunnel to Joaquin's basement. On the way, she takes a wristwatch belonging to one of Gallardo's crew members, a man named Lefty. After that, Joaquin tells Berta that she must pretend everything is fine if Gallardo calls her. When she refuses, Joaquin plays the recording of Betty whispering to Casimiro. What Betty whispered turns out to be the same words Gallardo once said to her. Those were the words spoken when he abused her 2 years earlier, when she was only 4 years old. That trauma is the real reason behind her selective mutism. Hearing the truth completely breaks Berta. Her fear turns into rage, and her hatred for Gallardo grows even deeper. Soon after, Gallardo calls, and Berta forces herself to sound fine. Even so, Joaquin has no choice but to sedate her again because she is still consumed by anger and wants revenge. Joaquin promises that Gallardo's life will be destroyed.
Confía en mí, por favor.
Not long after December 25th arrives, the night of the planned bank robbery, Joaquin hears Lefty still frantically searching for his missing watch. Around 7 in the evening, 1 hour before Gallardo plans to enter the tunnel at 8, Joaquin makes his move. He goes down into the tunnel first, planning to steal the money ahead of them. Before doing anything else, he relocates the bomb and places it near the water pipe. His goal is to cause the pipe to burst and flood the entire tunnel. Originally, that bomb was meant to blow through the bank floor directly into the vault room. With the bomb no longer in place, Joaquin breaks through the bank floor by hand. Once he succeeds, he carefully removes safe number 748, which contains money belonging to the anti-narcotics agency and is directly connected to the police alarm system. Just as he is about to return to his basement around 7:30, He suddenly hears that Galaretto plans to start the mission earlier than expected. That means the bomb is about to be detonated. Joaquin is still inside the tunnel and has no choice but to run toward the nearest exit, back into the bank. Thankfully, he manages to escape in time. Joaquin quickly re-enters the tunnel and rushes back toward his basement before Galaretto's crew enters. Unaware that the water pipe has already begun to leak, 3 of Galaretto's men move through the tunnel toward the bank. Their task is to retrieve the documents requested by Gutman from safe number 155, along with cash from other safes. Everything is sent through a box pulled along rails inside the tunnel. The first delivery goes smoothly, but during the second run, which carries Gutman's documents, one of the crew members inside the bank realizes the tunnel is already filling with water. By then, Galaretto, Lefty, and Canario have already escaped. Seeing one of Galaretto's men drowning, Joaquin briefly considers helping him, but the water surges rapidly, flooding Joaquin's basement in the bank vault area. Gutman's documents are left behind in the tunnel. One crew member drowns while the other 2 become trapped inside the vault room and are soon captured by the police. After sealing the basement opening with piles of computer equipment, Joaquin explains everything that just happened to Berta, including the money he managed to steal. Berta barely reacts to the cash at all. She is terrified that Galaretto will discover what Joaquin has done and come after them. Seeing her despair, Joaquin promises to protect both Berta and her daughter. But when Berta starts to panic and resist, Joaquin is forced to sedate her again to prevent the situation from spiraling further, especially if the police or Galaretto's gang show up. Joaquin quickly washes the dirt off his body and steps outside. Police officers and firefighters are already there, responding to the alarm triggered by safe number 748. Soon after, Gutman and his team arrive to inspect Joaquin's house. Fortunately, they suspect nothing. Berta is asleep peacefully, and her restraints have been removed. Gutman even leaves his phone number with Joaquin, telling him to call if anything suspicious happens. Not long after Gutman leaves, Galaretto shows up with Lefty and his brother, Canario. They claim to be police officers from another division and insist on inspecting the house. Joaquin reluctantly lets them inside, while secretly sending a message to Gutman asking for help. At the same time, Gutman calls Galaretto in a rage over the breach of safe number 748. After that, Galaretto demands to know what really happened in Joaquin's basement. Keeping his composure, Joaquin repeats what the police had already stated, that a bank robbery was carried out through a tunnel beneath his basement, and a leaking water pipe caused flooding throughout the area. At this point, Joaquin continues acting as if he knows absolutely nothing about the robbery. When Galaretto asks whether anyone else lives in the house, Joaquin explains that a woman and her daughter were renting a room there, but they have already left to look for another apartment. That lie quickly falls apart when Betty suddenly walks out of the room. In that moment, Galaretto realizes Joaquin has been lying. Joaquin tries to recover by claiming he was only respecting Berta's request not to reveal that she and her daughter were still in the house. Instead of admitting that Berta was drugged, he insists she is sick, taking medication, and resting in a downstairs room because she is too weak to climb the stairs. Galaretto does not believe him. To test whether Joaquin is truly disabled, he violently pushes him out of his wheelchair. Just as Galaretto is about to kill him, a call comes in. Gutman contacts Joaquin's phone and says he is already outside the house. The situation instantly spirals into confusion. Galaretto accuses Gutman of secretly working with Joaquin, questioning how Gutman's number could even be on his phone. At the same time, Gutman accuses Galaretto's group of deliberately opening safe number 748 and stealing both the money and the documents. Without hesitation, Galaretto has Gutman tied up. Since Gutman has already called the police, Galaretto plans to kill him. Before doing that, he decides to eliminate Joaquin first. With a gun pointed at him, Joaquin deliberately makes the situation even more chaotic. He pretends to ask Lefty for help, acting as if they know each other. Joaquin claims that Lefty once came to the house, met Berta, and explained the robbery plan, including how the profits would be split between the 3 of them. He also accuses Lefty of torturing and drugging Berta. Joaquin even names Galaretto and Canario, saying he learned everything from Lefty, including the location of their hideout after the robbery. The final piece of evidence seals it. Lefty's missing watch is found inside the clock cabinet, making it appear as if Lefty truly betrayed Galaretto. In reality, Betty was the one who stole the watch. Convinced he has been betrayed, Galaretto turns on his own man. Terrified of being killed, Lefty attacks Canario in desperation. With his brother dead, Gallardo turns his weapon back toward Joaquin, but the gun is now empty. Moments later, Berta, who has regained consciousness, steps out of the room. She picks up Canario's gun from the floor and points it directly at Gallardo, finally taking revenge for what he did to her daughter. After everything is over, Gutman takes control of the scene. He disposes of the bodies of Gallardo, Canario, and Lefty by loading them into his car and cleaning up the blood. Gutman has no idea about the many lies Joaquin told to survive. What matters most to him is the stolen anti-narcotics money. He demands half of it, making Joaquin's life the price if he refuses. Joaquin is not intimidated by the threat. He calmly reveals that he has CCTV footage of Gutman discussing the robbery with Gallardo. The moment Gutman sees the video, he freezes. Confused and distracted, he casually starts eating biscuits from a jar inside the clock cabinet. What Gutman does not realize is that those biscuits were injected with dog poison long ago, originally meant for Casimiro. Still trying to stay in control, Gutman threatens to kill Berta and Betty. That threat finally pushes Joaquin to reveal where the stolen money is hidden. Gutman loads all the cash into his car, along with the bodies of Gallardo, Canario, and Lefty. He drives away while continuing to chew the poisoned biscuits. Before long, the poison takes effect. In the end, Gutman and his entire scheme are brought down by their own actions. After everything is over, Joaquin is finally able to move on from the grief that has haunted him for years, the loss of his wife and child in the accident. He sells the house and leaves his past behind, starting a new life in a new place together with Berta, Betty, and Casimiro. So the moral of the story is never mess with a quiet guy who owns old computers, hidden cameras, and snacks you definitely should not eat.